Football Club Isle of Man, FC IOM, and they've had preliminary discussions with the North West Counties Football League regarding potentially entering the English non-league system starting at step 6. What are your thoughts on this one, Paul? Then Isle of Man, obviously very early discussions and not set in stone, but what are your thoughts on them potentially joining in the NWCFL?
I mean, I can speak from experience on this. We went over there in pre-season for a friendly about 3 weeks ago.
Right.
And it was just an absolute brilliant venue. The stadium that they've got is, in theory, it's the Isle of Man National Stadium. I think it holds between 2,500 and 3,000 people. It's about 6 or 7 rows of seats in a bowl all the way round. It's 3G. It's absolutely fantastic venue. The setup there is brilliant. I mean, I'm sure they'll fly through the ground grading. The only thing that I did notice was maybe something like an unimpeded walkway from the dressing rooms to the pitch, because the dressing rooms are actually behind the stand. So you'd have to actually walk up a couple of steps through the seats to get to the dressing room. But I'm sure they can sort that out quite easily. They were fantastic hosts. Logistically, it wasn't too bad. The ground's in Douglas. The airport is 8 miles away, I think it is. The ferry terminal is about a mile away. I mean, we went over on an aeroplane, flew out Saturday morning from Liverpool and flew back Sunday morning. But there is flights Saturday night. There's flights from Manchester. There's flights from Liverpool. There's the boat as well. And for me, it'll be an absolute positive. The standard over there was very good. I mean, when we went over there, they were actually talking about it and asking questions about the league and things. So they are quite positive about it. I don't know how far in discussion they are, but I know it's something that they are looking really excited about and looking forward to doing it. There will be a couple of sort of questions around how a team's going to afford flights or boats or whatever, but I know, elsewhere in the pyramid, the likes of Guernsey and Jersey have got teams, and they seem to do it well. So for me, it's an absolute positive. It'll boost the North West Counties to another region, and for me, it can, as I say, it literally can only be a positive going forward for the league.
Yeah, can I just ask? Obviously, you said you travelled by plane. Do you have any rough idea of how much that cost?
I think obviously the earlier you book it, the cheaper you get it. I think off the top of my head, it was about £50 return per person.
Okay.
Now that's over, that's a Saturday to Sunday. I don't know whether it's prime time in July or whatever. But I'm guessing that there'd probably be some sort of agreement where the Isle of Man will either pay for all or a percentage of the cost or whatever that may be. And I'm sure that'll be sort of set out before they agree to join the league. But I think it was about £50 return, and it was, I mean, the flight is nothing. You get on, I think it's 18 minutes, and your ears don't even pop. You take off. The lady doesn't come round with the drinks or anything, because you take off, and before you know it, the seatbelt sign doesn't even go off. You're back down on the floor again. So, for me, it will be an exciting day out, or if people want to stay over, it'll be an exciting weekend away for teams.
And just on that as well, was obviously when you travelled, did your club witness pay for each player, or was each player expected to pay for that themselves?
No, so we stayed overnight, and we all contributed a little bit towards it, right. Which I think, to be honest, just went into a kitty, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
So I think because we ended up staying, and I don't know what the hotel rooms cost. I'm guessing they were, a little bit more expensive than £50 say. But I know that there was plenty of hotels along the front of Douglas. Within sort of a mile of the stadium, there was plenty of bars for people to go and have a drink in the night and things like that. So, as I say, I really do think that there'll be teams looking forward to going over there and enjoying a weekend or even just a day to see their team on an away day.
Yeah, it could be a big thing for sort of bonding for players, couldn't it? Like, you know, getting a team gel together and things like that. As I say, my only concern about it is the logistics of it. I looked before, obviously. I didn't look at the flights, but I looked if you were going to get a ferry over. I mean, from where I am, it would have took about 6 hours. So logistically, you know, and you've got to think of Isle of Man as well. Are they going to, you know, it's going to cost them a lot travelling over, say, every other week or maybe sometimes twice a week. And they could be at a massive disadvantage when they play other teams away from home. We talk about things like that when, you know, the likes of when Carlisle City were in the league, Cleator Celtic now. So, I mean, it's all great in theory, and obviously it's big for the league in terms of moving and adding to their sort of region. But I just wonder if the logistics might be a bit too far. Clubs might struggle to foot up that bill to make it to Isle of Man, and I don't know what. I mean, what if you miss your flight or you miss your ferry, or, you know, there's a lot to think about it. But obviously, this is what the preliminary discussions are about. So that'll all get ironed out. And
one of the questions I did want to ask David was, would they have an away game on a Tuesday night?
Well, this is what I'm thinking, because, you know, if you've got an away game on a Tuesday night and there's no flight to get home, or you've got to wait overnight for a ferry, that's the logistical problems about their introduction to the league, you know. I don't know. Again, it's very, very early in the discussions. They're only in preliminary stages, and they'll be ironing all issues like this out. But I think they'll be the sort of things that are arising in these talks between both sides. And I mean, are you gonna have other teams saying, well, you know, Isle of Man don't have to play on a Tuesday night. Why do we have to play on a Tuesday night, and things like that? I don't know. This is the thing that's got to be discussed. But to be honest with you, I mean, I'm all for travelling to the Isle of Man now and again throughout the season to cover them. And I think if the thing's pictured of the stadium on the article on the website, is that the right one, Paul? Is that the stadium that you're talking about?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I think it's called something like the Bowl, and well, because it is, you know, it's a bowl. Which exactly is inventive, I know. But yeah, it's a great setup, and even better for the chubbies like me, you get Domino's pizza after the game, so I'm even better.
Every week. I'm moving.
Sorry,
to the
other pizzas are available.
It's a good job you said that, because I didn't.